Well, hello, STEM to Roots. This is your host, Mike Demba. This is where we plan on talking our way into a plan. Okay? Today, I want to share something very personal. All right, very personal to me because about 4 or 5 days ago, I took time to reflect and really think about my journey as an African immigrant here in the United States. Actually, it's been 20 incredible years, and I've learned a lot along the way. So, without further ado, I will dive straight into the 10 things that I've learned. Okay. Like I said, this is reflective, this is introspective. So, this is something that I would have kept to myself, but I thought to share because, like I always say, somebody out there will learn something from what my experience has been. And I can't wait to hear from you guys. Hopefully, somebody will relate. Hopefully, somebody can also share what their life has been here in the United States or wherever they live. Okay. Before I even go into my reflection number one, all right, let's put things in perspective. All right, 20 years is no joke. All right, I don't want to date myself, but that is a long time ago. When I got here, all right, understand this. When I got here, Tyler, we all know Tyler, the Water song, the South African superstar. She was 2 years, 20 days old. 2 years old. She was a baby. All right. When I just got here, a gallon of milk was $1. A gallon of milk. All right. I remember this because the reason why this came in mind is the day that I landed here with Babs. You all remember Babs from episode number one. Babkar and I went to a gas station right across the street from where our friends lived, where we were hosted the first 3 weeks before we found our space. So we went to the gas station because we were making, food. So we bought a gallon of milk for $1. I remember this vividly. As we walked from the gas station to the place we lived, Babs was like, "Dude, I'm never gonna drink water again." This fool thought milk can be a substitute for water. Can you imagine? This is how cheap milk was, right? So coming from Gambia, where, if I recall, you didn't even find milk in gallons. Okay, so this guy, this milk was $1. Now you can't go anywhere and find a gallon of milk for $1. Dude, George W. Bush was the president of the United States then. George W. Bush. This is a long time ago. This is before the whole Trump saga. Can you imagine? This is a long time ago. We did not even have GPS. How do I remember this? I remember when Babs and I were looking for an apartment. All right, 3 weeks after, 2 weeks after we lived where we lived, we were looking for an apartment. I remember the first apartment we went to go see. We needed directions. So we had to print out MapQuest. This is when you will put in your address, your destination address, and then you see directions, turn left, turn right, go 1 mile, whatever. We had to print it out. The reason why this also came in mind is because when we printed out a map, we printed out a driving map. Okay. So that we didn't know. So we should have switched it to a walking map, but we printed out a driving map. We took a bus, went to where we were going. Now to walk from the bus station to where where the apartment we were supposed to go see, we took the vehicle route because we kept walking and walking and walking. We made a loop that I think made us walk about 10 to 12 minutes extra just for us to come back to the same spot because all those streets were one way. So the driving map and the walking map obviously were different. Yeah. So 20 years is a long time. Okay. So we've come a long way. Reflection number one off the bat: learn, unlearn, and relearn. So as I thought about my reflections, this comes in mind. Like from day one, you have to be ready to learn. You have to be ready to unlearn certain things that you brought with you. You have to make adjustments. You have to adapt. You cannot be rigid, right? Especially if you leave your home country. You cannot be rigid. You have to think about a way to stay flexible and learn, stay fluid, just so that you'll navigate your way through this new place that you don't know anything about yet. Life will be hard. Life will be so hard if you don't figure out how to make changes quick, sometimes in a snap. Because I remember this, right? I have a video where I mentioned eye contact and stuff like that. Being here in the US, eye contact has a different meaning from where I grew up from, and from the environment that I was brought up in. Where somebody older than you have to be careful how you look in their eyes so that you won't look like you're disrespecting them. Versus here in the US, where if you're talking to somebody, you want to show respect. Sincerity is in you looking in their eye to show attention. So those kind of things I had to adjust to. Right, like I also said in one of my videos, acknowledging people, no matter who it is, whether it's strangers, whether it's people that you know, first time you see them at any point, you have to acknowledge their presence by greeting them, right? You know, when I landed in Boston, different culture, sometimes that is distracting for some people. If you don't know them, they don't want you just coming all over, just, saying hi and stuff like that. I had to make those adjustments. You don't lose who you are, but you have to learn, unlearn, and learn again and relearn and all of that stuff. That was my reflection number one. That's the first thing that I picked up. Reflection number two, my number two lesson: information is key. This is close to the first lesson I just said, learning and unlearning, right? Um, the difference there is, I've gone through so much that I later realized, right, if I had the right information, I would have saved time and money, right? It's the information age. It's Google, it's YouTube. You guys are lucky. We have all of that now. 20 years ago, as far as YouTube goes, all this information that we have right now at the tip of our fingers, right in front of our phones, we didn't have, right? So for every move you make or you're about to make, you can find out self-help tips. You can find out more information so that you'll make decisions actually that are informed, right? So information is key, because I've gone through, like in my first couple of years here, I've gone through things that if I took my time to be informed, whether I seek it, whether I ask people, whether I found it, would have helped me so much actually in mistakes that I've made that was just me lacking all the information that I need. My reflection number three: you will make mistakes. You will make mistakes. And then what? Like I already mentioned in number two, I don't care how much information you seek. I got news for you. You will make mistakes. All right. You will mess up. But again, and then what? Over the years, I've embraced this mantra that it's only a mistake when you don't draw lessons from it, right? Whatever mistake it is, just make sure you draw a lesson from it. Learn something from it, okay? Something I've learned lately is how to trick my mind in straightening things up soonest, all right? Everything I experience, good, bad, ugly, whatever happens, I will say, why did it happen for me? Okay, I've eliminated the word to, right? I try to avoid saying, why did this happen to me? Because that then, kind of like brings out that victim in you. Taking things as happening to you brings out this victim in you where you feel bad for yourself. But when you start thinking about why things are happening for you, no matter what it is, it brings out not only gratitude, but what your mind will start doing is start looking for all the kind of reasons why those things are happening for you, so that you'll take advantage of that very event. Again, whether it's a good one, a bad one, an ugly one, just from that word change from to me to for me. And these are the kind of things that I've learned in making mistakes. Reflection number four. This is my fourth lesson. There is power in resilience. There's power in resilience. Stay persistent. All right. Think about what you really, really want. Find that North Star and march straight to it. You'll see hurdles that you need to jump over. You will need to build bridges sometimes, bridges that you will build from your own hands. Sometimes you might even need to dig tunnels from your fingernails. But whatever you need to do, you just focus on that North Star. Know your why, know where you're headed. It comes from, that belief and having clarity in where you're headed. Resilience is a superpower. Trust me, it is. Overcoming challenges, both big and small, have shaped me into the person that I am today. It's amazing what you can endure and conquer when you put your mind to it. Reflection number 5, strive for excellence. As I reflect on my stay here, I thought about what it means to strive for excellence. Because, ladies and gentlemen, striving for excellence, especially as an immigrant, is a responsibility. It's a responsibility. You're not only a representation of yourself, you're a reflection of your family, sometimes your country of origin. And if, like me, you live here in the US, you're a representation of an entire continent because of the label that you're given. Everywhere you go, first thing they see is an African. So you're a representation of something bigger than you. So striving for excellence is very, very important. Don't be mediocre. Set very high standards for yourself. Strive to be the best at work in any public space, in any public place. Even when you're not being watched, you should always put yourself in a place where anybody that sees you can kind of like strive to model after you. You owe it to yourself and the people that look up to you. Be that example, like I said, someone that, people around you will strive to aspire and model after. Excellence at all times, and you have to deliver that for the masses, like I said. Reflection number 6, embrace diversity. While here, take advantage of your reach. Okay, you are in a melting pot, like here in the US, or if you're in the UK, or a lot of people in Europe. There's so much to gain, so much to learn and experience from other people. I've learned that building bridges, between you and people, are not walls that keep you confined and in this space where you're not assimilating enough. You're just with quote unquote your people. That's something that I believe in. You have to reach and you have to create these connections with people from all walks of life. This will enrich you. This will enrich your experience, and this will open doors that for me, in doing that, it has opened doors that I never thought were possible. The people that have been there for me, I've had people, not only Americans, but people from Indonesia. He knows himself. People from Thailand. He knows himself. People from all different places in this world. I have a lot of friends that are, from, the Colombias, and I have friends from, the Caribbean. Like, just opening up to all these people that your destiny has brought you together. You have to embrace all of that because your reach is wide. So please don't limit yourself. Embrace that diversity. That said, lesson number 7, my reflection number 7, is actually embracing your identity. That's very, very important. Like, cultural exchange is a two-way street. I have shared my African heritage proudly, and in return, I have been fortunate to learn and appreciate the beauty of various cultures here in the US. However, embracing our identity is critical. I've found strength in being proud of my African roots whilst also celebrating, my identity as an American. All right. It's about finding that beautiful balance, right? Celebrating differences is actually what makes our society vibrant, right? Like, the society is alive because every single person is bringing in something. Like, like every culture adds, to this, good mix of nations. It's the differences that make us, stronger together. You don't want to make the mistake of contributing, towards your kids losing their identity, right? So whilst in embracing your identity, you're also teaching your kids who otherwise are growing up in a place that is far away or far removed from where you're from. You embracing your identity is actually what will teach them, this place that, or this advantage that they will have from actually learning about something else other than what is around them all the time. Reflection number 8, build your core. You got to be deeply rooted. You have to build your core. For me, building my core means, trusted friends, my family, my faith, having a very, very strong base. You can always count on them. Whilst I thought about this, I knew that, what I learned was to be open-minded on who to give that responsibility of kind of being my core and being my root whilst being very, very selective because this is important. Between home and my adopted home here in the US, I've enjoyed the security blanket of knowing I got people. People who celebrate the good times with me, and most importantly, people that actually show up during the hard times. Which leads me to reflection number 9, the ninth lesson that I've learned: loss, grief, dark times. Sorry, but these are times that you can't avoid. As a traveler, as somebody that has left your home country, you will lose loved ones. Right this very moment, you have tens of people that you've seen for the last time you saw them. Right? So we need to learn how to live. We need to learn, how to build that muscle that helps with times like these, because you can't avoid them. One of that muscle group for me is what I just talked about for number 8, finding that core. I remember when I lost my dad in 2008. This is 4 years after I just got here. The people that showed up for me at that very moment were not just my family. Family was so far away. The people that I saw were friends and co-workers that showed up for me, and just because of what I give them as a service, as a human being, the love I give them, they gave me back. And I had that core support. Even the ability to go home and attend my dad's 40-day service. I could not afford going home without these core friends that all came together, to help me actually, make it back home. So you gotta build your core. You need that base, that very strong root. The last reflection number 10. Home is where the heart is. That's my last one. Home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. For me, I have taken this literally. Home is where my physical heart is pounding right at this moment, right where I'm making this recording right now. Whether it's a small apartment, whether you have the only castle in the neighborhood, it's the love, the laughter, and the memories that truly make a place feel like home. For me, this happens to be right here in the US. I have my family here. I have a lovely wife and vibrant kids. This is home. That is not to be mistaken with that saying, there's no place like home. No, these are two different things. Remember, that healthy balance that I mentioned? You can have that as your home. There's no place like that. You were born there, you were raised there. But when it comes to where your heart is, that's where your home is right this moment. So you have to take it as a whole. And whilst doing that, just never lose your heritage. Those are two different things. So there you have it. 10 things that I've learned in 20 years as an African immigrant here in the US. I would love to hear your thoughts and your experiences too. Like I said, in here, we want to have a conversation. So if you have anything that matches what I'm saying or your experiences are similar, please, I want to hear from you. Maybe comment, maybe, like I said, self-invite, because I want to have these conversations. Like I said in my last video, come, you're invited. But if you don't hear from me because I've not reached out, you can self-invite. Okay, so don't forget to share this video, because I would love to hear from more people. Have them subscribe, you yourself subscribe if not. And until the next one, and it's a big one, I have an episode coming for you guys soon. But for now, I'm gonna leave you with this one.